What I'd like to call to order the July meeting of the Kernersville Planning Board. First order of business is turn it to the staff to talk about the format for our remote meeting tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman Waddell. For those who wish to participate, the phone number is listed on the agenda. You can call in at 336-996-7289. If you could, please wait for your agenda item if you wish to call in. If it's busy, try your call. Again, the public hearing will remain open until the last phone call is answered. And also posted as a public comments we have received up to 12 o'clock today, which is on the agenda item.
Okay.
That's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Steph. I'd like to do a board roll call, please. If you hear your name, just say here. Margaret Burks.
Here.
Diane Byers.
Here.
Joanne Davis.
Here.
Jim Fredenberg.
Here.
Steve Hutchins. Tom McDaniel.
Here.
Nathan Meyer.
Here.
Chris Oakman.
Here.
Joe Orenstein.
Here.
And Jim Waddell is here. The next item on our agenda is the approval of minutes. For approval of the minutes of the June 8th, 2020 Planning Board meeting. Do I hear a motion for approval as presented by staff?
I so move.
Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, I'll call the roll again. Just say yay or nay if you would. Margaret Burks,
Yay.
Diane Byers,
Yay.
Joanne Davis,
Yay.
Jim Fredenberg,
Yay.
Tom McDaniel,
Yay.
Nathan Meyer,
Yay.
Chris Oakman,
Yay.
Joe Orenstein,
Yay.
and Jim Waddell is a yay also, so it's not unanimous. Next item is the approval of the minutes for the June 10th, 2020 Planning Board meeting.
I
Margaret
so
Burke.
move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Tom, okay. Margaret Burks,
Yay.
Diane Byers,
Yay.
Joanne Davis,
Yay.
Jim Fredenberg,
Yay.
Tom McDaniel,
Yay.
Nathan Meyer,
Yay.
Chris Oakman,
Yay.
Joe Orenstein,
Yay.
and Jim Waddell is a yay, so unanimous. Next item on our agenda was our public sessions. A final development plan. Roland Anderson of H&H Homes, agent for the owner, for a final development plan, approval of site plan titled Lakeside at Caleb Creek in the MU-S 2-phase zoning district for properties located at the intersection of Teague Lane at Ogden School Road, being a part of PIN numbers 6874-65-2140, containing a total of 19.62 plus or minus acres. Petitioner is requesting a change in the conditions originally approved September 10th, 2018. Requested uses, residential building, single family. This is zoning docket K-570 FDP TR RL 23.A1. Turn to the staff.
Yeah, Chairman Waddell, for convenience, staff would like to present presentations on agenda A and B. B is identical to A. The only difference is for the White Hawk section in Caleb Creek, and what you just described was the lakeside. So I'll make a single presentation for A and B.
But you would prefer a separate vote for each one?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay.
So the amendment is for two sections in Caleb's Creek, Lakeside and Whitehawk. The petitioner is described as Roland Anderson for H&H Homes. Agent for the owner, they're also the builder. The owner developer is Boma LLC. Whitehawk is a residential townhouse development with 63 units off Teague Lane, and just to the north is Lakeside off Teague Lane, which is a residential single-family detached of 77 units. The building design, Whitehawk is a townhouse development with 2 bay garages as shown. Lakeside is traditional housing design as illustrated here also. Applicant is requesting a facade material amendment. Currently, H&H is the only builder required to use hardy board, which is a fiber cement in Caleb's Creek. They believe that similar aesthetics can be achieved with the use of a higher grade vinyl siding material. The proposed siding is all side Odyssey 0.044 thickness. Examples of H&H vinyl siding can be found locally in the Waterford Glen and Barrington Oaks communities located in Clemens, North Carolina. Facade standards. Fiber cement siding is made from a mix of wood pulp and Portland cement that is formed in boards or shingles. It is attached to a home directly with nails. Vinyl siding is made primarily from PVC, a rigid plastic material, and is affixed to a home exterior in a manner that allows it to expand and contract with changing temperatures. The American Society of Testing Materials requires vinyl siding to be at a minimum 0.035 inches thick, but most vinyl panels are at least 0.04 inches thick. The applicant is proposing 0.044 inches thick. Compared with wood, both vinyl siding and fiber cement are durable exterior cladding options. Recommendation for both cases: approval of the previous conditions with one amendment to both cases. Hardy board or similar product or vinyl siding of 0.044 thickness shall be used for the siding elements. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions to staff?
And Adam, do we have anybody online?
Roland Anderson is on the call.
Mr. Anderson, do you have anything to bring to the board?
No, sir. I'd just like to say good evening. I'm here just acting as agent for owner, and I'm able to answer any questions that anyone has. Mr. Hadling stated the report and case, and we would appreciate the decision to amend that current condition.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of Mr. Anderson? Okay. So again, we're going to take the vote on each individual case. So first one we'll take is the Lakeside at Caleb's Creek. What's the pleasure of the board?
I make a motion to accept as presented.
Okay, we have a
I'll second.
I second it.
motion for approval and a second. We'll do a roll call vote. Margaret Burks,
Yes.
Diane Byers,
Yes.
Luann Davis,
Yes.
Jim Fredenberg,
Yes.
Tom McDaniel,
Yes.
Nathan Myers,
Yes.
Chris Oakman,
Yes.
Joe Orenstein,
Yes.
and Jim Waddell is a yes, so it's unanimous. Now, what's the pleasure of the board for Whitehawk at Caleb's Creek?
Make a motion we approve as submitted by the staff.
A motion
Second.
for approval by Tom, a second by Jim Fredenberg. Any further discussion? Okay, we'll do another roll call. Margaret Burks,
Yes.
Diane Byers,
Yes.
Luann Davis,
Yes.
Jim Fredenberg,
Yes.
Tom McDaniel,
Yes.
Nathan Meyer,
Yes.
Chris Oakman,
Yes.
Joe Ornstein,
Yes.
and Jim Waddell is a yes. Okay, the next item on our agenda is a preliminary subdivision review for Stonehaven subdivision. I'll present it back to the staff who has an update on this case.
Yes, the applicant has submitted some additional information on looking at controlling their stormwater. Staff will need some time to review that and make additional recommendations. So staff is asking that this case be not heard tonight, but continued to the August planning board meeting.
Okay. Do I hear a motion for approval to extend this case to the August meeting?
Which case is this?
This is the Stonehaven subdivision.
I move that we, hear it in the month of August.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Who was that, Nathan?
Yes.
Okay, so a motion by Margaret and a second by Nathan. So we'll take a vote. Margaret Burks,
Yes.
Diane Byers,
Yes.
Joanne Davis,
Yes.
Jim Frydenberg,
Yes.
Tom McDaniel,
Yes.
Nathan Meyer,
Yes.
Chris Oakman,
Yes.
Joe Ornstein,
Yes.
and Jim Waddell is a yes, so it's unanimous. So it will be held over until our August meeting. Next item on our agenda is our public hearings. First one is Kernersville Development Plan Amendment. Curtis Swisher, agent for the town of Kernersville, for consideration of an amendment to the Kernersville Development Plan to amend the land use plan from low-density residential to mixed residential for property located near the eastern terminus of Brookdale Forest Drive at Brookford Road, being all of pin number 6885-92-5127 and 6895-01-3427. This is zoning docket KDP-54. Jeff?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman Waddell. As described, this is a proposed amendment to the land use plan as shown on this illustration, from low density residential to mixed use. The associated rezoning case is special use district rezoning case K-782, is a proposed mixed residential development, which will be heard after this public hearing. Units in the proposed mixed residential is 82 single family, 96 townhouses. The total of 178 units. Units per acre, the single family residential is 2.91 units per acre. The townhouses, 3.13 units per acre. Overall density, 3.02 units per acre. Findings: the town undertook a strategic sewer investment to expand sewer infrastructure into the lower Abbas Creek and Reedy Fork areas, which this is a part of. As a result of the sewer expansion, the town was able to attract Navant's Kernersville Medical Center, the VA Health Clinic, Moses Medical Offices, FedEx Ground, Amazon, and numerous other businesses. As a result of the expansion of our employment base, an increase in demand for housing is taking place. The land use plan definition for mixed residential is: mixed residential density has been established in the areas that are transitional land use areas that are located along major thoroughfares. Mixed residential areas provide a supply of undeveloped land to accommodate the growing demand of smaller owner-occupied housing units such as cluster homes, duplexes, triplexes, quadruplexes, and condos. The demand for mixed residential is being driven by the demographic changes, smaller family sizes, single parents, and an aging population. Rising land and development costs are also making higher density housing more attractive. They can be more affordable. Mixed residential developments offer developers the opportunity to construct several types of housing in different markets, thus enabling them to complete the project in a more rapid, cost-effective method. The Business Journal, starting back in 2002, said 60% of all building permits are now condos or townhomes. Demand for townhomes and smaller lots, owner-occupied housing has only increased since 2002, so this has been a steady trend. The proposed mixed residential land use will allow for a transition between I-40, the Kernersville Medical Parkway's medical and multifamily developments, and the industrial and commercial areas along NC 66. The proposed mixed residential uses of townhomes and single families fall in the current housing market trends for smaller lots and maintenance-free developments such as the townhouse section. Townhouses and single-family products provide the opportunity of a wider range of home prices during this period of high land costs and construction costs. Greater density and development can also impact economic development, with employers and employees both seeking closer proximity to one another to take advantage of a larger workforce for employers and reduce travel time for employees. Traffic generation, the main access will come from the Kernersville Medical Parkway area. It is estimated 75% or more of the estimated 1,477 trips per day to and from this proposed development will be traveling to and from the Kernersville Medical Parkway, with 25% or less traveling to and from the Bunker Hill Road to the south. NCDOT 2017 traffic counts, the latest traffic counts for Brookford Road was 450 trips per day, down from 580 trips per day in 2002. The decline in traffic may be due to Kernersville Medical Parkway being completed and more vehicles taking that route. Schools, community development staff works closely with the school facility staff for sharing growth data and planning for new schools. Community development staff provided residential growth projections that supported the passage of the last school bond. Within that approved school bond, funds are available for Smith Farms Middle School to relieve congestion of the Southeast Middle School, and land for a new elementary school site to relieve congestion at Caleb's Creek and Union Cross Elementary Schools. Staff recommendation of the land use plan amendment, approval of the resolution to designate the property located off Brookford Road adjacent to the southern side of I-40, being all at PIN 6885925127 and 6895013427, from low density residential to mixed residential. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time or wait.
Any questions of staff at this point? Okay, if not, I'll declare the public hearing open. Anyone online or to speak in favor of the petition?
Mr. Waddell, we have Scott Wallace, agent for the owner, on the line.
Okay. Mr. Wallace, do you have, go ahead. You'll state your name and address for the record, please. Mr. Wallace, you still with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go. If you'll state your name and
Yes.
address
Yes,
for the
this
record.
Yes, sir. This is Scott Wallace, president of Keystone Group Incorporated, with offices located at 3708 Alliance Drive in Greensboro, 27407. And
Okay.
Judy Stalder is on the line with us as well, and I'm on the line to answer any questions that you may have. And we very much respect and request that you approve this land use change and the zoning change coming up after this item.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Wallace from the board? Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else wish to speak in favor of the petition?
Judy Stalder is on the line.
Hi, this is Judy Stalder. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, ma'am. If you'll state your name and address, please, for the record.
It's Judy Stalder, 3735 Admiral Drive in High Point,
Okay.
agent for Keystone. This land use change really sets us up to be able to bridge that space between the medical center, which is more of an urban setting, and the RS-20 homes that are existing to the south. And we can still do that and provide, we can fill that space with a low density development of 3.02 units per acre, but provide a variety of housing, including townhomes from 1,500 to 2,500 square feet, and single family homes as small as 1,600 square feet and up to 3,600 square feet. So a variety of housing and housing prices from the low 200,000s to the upper 300,000s to provide that infill between this rural setting on Brookford Road to the south and the medical center to the north.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions of Ms. Stalder? Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else wish to speak in favor of the petition?
And there are no other callers on the line to speak in favor.
Okay. Anyone wish to speak in opposition to the petition? Do we have anybody online?
Get one on the call right now. Mr. Rumpel's on the.
I'm sorry, Adam, what'd you say?
We've got Paul Rumpel on the line. Mr. Rumpel, your mic is open.
Yes, sir.
If you'll state your name and address for the record, please.
Paul Rumpel, 9116 Foxfire Drive.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Russell. You wish to speak in opposition to the petition, Mr. Russell?
Yes, sir. Submitted information via email this morning to staff, and I just don't understand the transitional period people are speaking about. Coming south of I-40 is low density housing, RS-20. I do not understand why we can't keep the high to medium density to the north side of I-40 and maintain our community development as it presently is. Putting in 178 homes, some of them being 2- or 3-story townhomes, is just not fit our community.
Okay.
And also just to point out for staff, they put some of the opposition letters under the Stonehaven site plan that was submitted by our neighbors. They're not actually under this docket, they're under the wrong docket.
I'm sorry, say that again, Mr. Rumpel.
Yes, I just wanted to make a point that checking the docket tonight for the agenda tonight, some of the letters in opposition for this development were listed under the Stonehaven public hearing and rather than the Brookford Village.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
We'll straighten out before we take our vote on Wednesday.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jim, I think for clarification for the people participating, it's important to note that the board will not be able to take action on this public hearing item nor the rezoning item. State law requires a 24-hour public period of public comments in addition to the ones already received. And so a follow-up action meeting making recommendations to the Board of Aldermen will take place Wednesday at 6 o'clock in the same format.
Yes, thank you. Anyone else wish to speak in opposition for the change in the Kernersville development plan?
David Tubal is on the.
Hello, this is David Tubble.
Yes, sir. State your name, address, please, Mr. Tumble.
Yeah, David Tubble, 1511 Brookdale Forest Drive in Kernersville.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Tumble.
Well, it's like I think the last caller mentioned, I don't quite understand this transitional area they're talking about. I mean, they're wedging a bunch of townhomes and high density housing in a small, I mean, it's like just a few hundred yards from the highway to the first house. And this area has always been, low density RS20 single family homes on half-acre lots or so. And it just doesn't really, it doesn't fit here, I don't believe. I just don't agree with that.
Okay.
That's,
Thank you.
that's about, I urge you to vote against it.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Tumble. Appreciate it. Anyone else in opposition to the change in the Kernersville development plan?
No more on the phone, sir.
Okay. Seeing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed for 5A. And again, we will take up the final vote on that on Wednesday at 6 p.m. The next item is a rezoning. Scott Wallace, agent for owner, petitioner, requests a single phase special use district rezoning from RS20 to RM8-S residential multifamily and RS12-S PRD residential single family plan residential development special use district for property located near the eastern terminus of Brookdale Forest Drive at Brookfield Road, being all of bin number 6885-92-5127 and 6895-01-3427, containing 58.76 plus or minus acres. Requested uses is residential single family, PRD, planned residential development, residential buildings, townhouse. This is zoning docket K-782. Jeff?
I think it's Chairman Odell. As
Okay,
described, this is a special use district rezoning, which means there's specific uses proposed and a specific site plan. The site plan is 58 acres, which is also the earlier Kernersville development plan area. A large area to the east is undeveloped. It's adjacent to the Deep River watershed area. And so they're just developing on the east side of the Deep River. On the site plan, as described earlier, there's 82 single family, 96 townhomes, total of 178 units. As described before, the single family has a density of 2.9 units per acre, townhomes 3.13 units per acre, the average density of 3.02 units per acre. The townhomes and a specific design of 2-bay garages, brick facades, 1- and 2-story units. The single family residential traditional design of single family detached. The direct access will be off Brookford, which will have a right in, right out constructed as required by NCDOT. Emergency access only off Brookdale Forest Drive. Brookford Forest Drive is a private access, and there'll be a gate there for emergency services only. No construction, just only emergency vehicles, primarily for fire and rescue. In the PRD section, the single family detached, there's a 30-foot type 2 buffer yard along the border of the site. So in green is one of the PRD buffer yards on the east side of the PRD single family and also along the southern side. On the site plan, there's a specific site plan requirement on the southern side. The buffer yard planting areas will be on the top area, 15 feet. The bottom area will be left undisturbed. The RM8S section, building 1 and building 2, there's a required buffer, there's type 2 15-foot buffer yard, which is 2 deciduous trees, 8 primary evergreen plants, and 20 supplemental evergreen plants along Brookford Village Drive. This is allow for a transition between the 2 adjacent single family. And so on the site, you may have been out there, one site accesses directly off Brookford Drive, facing Brookford Drive, and there's another home off Brookford Drive on a driveway going back behind that house. But there'll be a buffer yard planting requirements to offer that transition between those single family and the townhomes.
Is that, Jeff, is that building, is that building 1 and building 2, or building 1 and building 16?
I'm sorry, building 1 and building 16 on the site plan.
Okay.
And as illustrated in the 2 green lines where the buffer yard will be planted. The stormwater, all the stormwater will go to a watershed pond for treatment before going into the deep river. Actually, some of the storm drainage that now flows towards the south into Twin Creek will flow away from those properties into this pond and discharge into the deep river. This is a watershed pond for water quality. This water goes to the High Point drinking water and Greensboro drinking water sources. As described earlier, the land use plan the staff is recommending is a low density residential to mixed residential, or specifically in the townhomes. In the single family, there'll be hip and gable roofs, window trim that incorporates the use of decorative shutters, head aprons, and our cornices. Entrances will be well-defined stylistic front entrances with panel doors. Garage doors will be panel garage doors with frame decorative trim. Design features on all sides shall apply. The trim will be distinctive and shall be incorporated in both the townhomes and the single family. Materials for the townhouses is brick veneer, vinyl siding, vinyl shakes, manufactured stone veneer, and or similar materials. The single family detached would be brick, veneer, vinyl siding, vinyl shakes, manufactured stone veneer, and other similar materials. These would also be specific conditions. So any developer of this site, if Keystone decided to sell this site, the new developer would still have to follow the material standards as submitted by the developer. Traffic, I described earlier in the Kernersville development plan, the main access will come from the Kernersville Medical Parkway area, with 75% of the trips from the north going to and from the Medical Parkway, and 25% or less to and from Bunker Hill Road to the south. As described earlier, the traffic counts have gone down in Brookford. They're currently about 400 trips per day. 2017 is the newest count. The decline of traffic on Brookford Road is probably due to the Kernersville Medical Parkway absorbing more of the traffic. I discussed schools and how we work closely with the Board of Education and the bond that is going to help Southeastern Forsyth County with shifting middle school enrollments towards Smith Farm proposed middle school. And also we're working with the Board of Education on looking at land for potential elementary site to relieve congestion at Cales Creek and Union Cross. Staff recommendation, approval of the following motion. Move to amend the Unified Development Ordinance of the town by rezoning the property in case 782 from RS20 to RM8S and RS12 PRD. The said rezoning being consistent with the town's comprehensive plan and Kernersville development plan, and further being both reasonable in the public interest because of the following facts. The petitioner requests a special use district rezoning allowing building architectural standards to be applied. This assures the development addresses the development plan goal of establishing Kernersville as a unique high-quality community within the triad. Secondly, the petitioner requests a special use district rezoning allowing a specific site plan to be considered to address the unique character of the area. Thirdly, the petitioner submitted design incorporating watershed protection and will provide sensitive landscaping plan which will help improve the natural environment. Regarding the site plan, approval of the site plan with conditions is listed in the staff report. I'll be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Okay, any questions of staff at this point? Okay, if not, I'll declare the public hearing open. Do we have anybody online or on the phone to speak in favor of the petition?
Judy Stalder is on the line to speak in favor. Ms. Stalder, your mic is now open.
Just state your name and address for the
Hi.
record.
Thank you. This is Judy Stalder, 3735 Admiral Drive in High Point for Keystone. This zoning request is a planned residential development which lets us tailor it specifically for this property and this location. And I think it's very important because it is a transitional property. It's located near I-40 and the medical center, which is more of a rural setting, and urban setting, and then there's more rural setting to the south. And we want to fill that space in between it with a low density development, just with some different varied types of housing. The single family homes shown on our plan are at 2.9 units an acre. That's about 1 unit an acre more than the existing single family homes at RS20. Those single family homes that we propose to build will be located next to the existing single family homes in the RS20. And although the density is not much greater, we will plant a 30-foot wide type 2 buffer yard to ease that transition between the slightly lower density homes. The proposed townhomes, which are only slightly over 3 units an acre, will be located between the new single family homes and I-40. There will also be a planted buffer along the entrance to the townhomes where there are existing single-family homes across the street. The PRD allows us to arrange all the homes on the property to protect the adjacent property owners, as well as to protect environmentally sensitive areas on the eastern portion of the property. And by the way, we are held to and adhere to all the local, state, and federal regulations and standards for the protection of the watershed, the control of runoff, and other environmental concerns. Now, it's Keystone's custom to meet with adjacent neighbors prior to rezoning. However, considering the current pandemic, we only sent a letter with details of the zoning conditions, and we invited the neighbors to contact us by telephone or text or email. And we did receive one email, and I'd like to quickly summarize those concerns, which are echoed in the other public comments that were posted today. The main thing is density. At 3.02 units per acre, this is a low density neighborhood, but it will support housing for employees of the medical center and other businesses that are located in Kernersville now. The amendment to the land use plan allows us to offer varied types of housing. So Keystone builds quality homes, and these homes will have garages. And the PRD lets us add architectural standards to the development for roof pitch and siding materials and other things. But you can look at any of our communities in the Triad and see that they're quality homes, and they'll be built that way whether there's a condition or not. As I said before, the townhomes will be in the low 200,000s to mid 200,000s with 1,500 to 2,500 square feet, depending on the model. The single family homes will sell in the upper 200,000s to the upper 300,000s with square foot area from 1,600, which would be fine for a single, professional, or a couple, up to 3,600 for a family. The range of prices and sizes allows a great mix of neighbors in our communities. For instance, a grandparent might want to live in a smaller home, but be near their family, their children and grandchildren. That would require a larger home. And we do developments like this all over the Triad, and one very similar one is in Colfax off of Boylston Road. Traffic was another issue of concern. The access for Brookford Village will be directly to Brookford Road near I-40. And Brookford Road is a minor thoroughfare, as was highlighted in the staff report. We expect the large majority of homeowners to be traveling to the north to get to town and or I-40. And we'll also have an emergency access to Brookdale Forest Drive with a gate for use only by the police, fire, and ambulances. There are no plans to use that access for anything else. Our plans have been reviewed by NCDOT, and left and right turn lanes were recommended and will be constructed on Brookford Road at the entrance. Schools were another concern, and as you know, your town staff works with the school facility staff to share growth data. And that's one advantage of land use plans, is that there are no surprises when development occurs according to plan. So whether this is low density residential or mixed use residential, the density is still the same, and they can expect the same or fewer children based on what we plan to build. The single family homes, of course, will attract families and children, but not all the houses will be completed in the same school year. Not all the children will be of school age. Some will be older, some will be younger. Not all of those that do go to school will be at the same grade level, and at this economic level, not all the students will attend public school. Now, with the townhomes, it has been our experience that they will have minimal impact on the schools. They typically attract empty nesters and single professionals. And while you will find some students living in townhomes, it's not the typical. And that's been our experience throughout the triad. I've already talked more than I had planned to, but I do want to say Keystone builds quality, successful communities all over the triad. We're a local company, and we remain involved with our communities even after construction is finished. Because this request meets the standards of the ordinance and the intent of the land use plan to support housing for existing and new developments, new employment centers, while staying at a low density, because the planned residential development PRD ensures the site design is considerate of existing homes and environmentally sensitive areas, and outlines conditions to ensure the homes will be built of the highest quality materials and craftsmanship. And because it has access to a minor thoroughfare and will be providing turn lanes at the entrance, we ask for your favorable recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stoller. Any questions of Ms. Stoller? Okay, anyone else wish to speak in favor of this petition? We have anyone else?
Scott Wallace is still on the line. He may want to say something.
Once again, this is Scott Wallace, with President of Keystone Group, with offices at 3708 Alliance Drive in Greensboro, North Carolina, 27407. And I just wanted to echo Judy's comments, and we're very much looking forward to building another first-class community here in the Triad, and specifically our first one in Kernersville. So we're a local company, and we're very much looking forward to another first-class community. And I'd love to answer any questions that you may have.
Great. Any questions of Mr. Wallace at this time? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Anyone else wish to speak in favor of the petition? Hearing no one, will anyone wish to speak in opposition to the petition?
Chairman Waddell, we have Lisa Tuval on the line. Ms. Tuval, your mic is open.
Yes, I'm Lisa Tubble. My address is 1511 Brookdale Forest Drive. I just wanted to point out a few things. The NCDOT survey that was done in 2017, I believe, is outdated because the medical center, the VA, and now the VA home that's going to be next to the VA all will be increasing traffic going onto the Kernersville Medical Parkway. And right now it is dangerous to get out onto that parkway because you have a high volume of traffic, especially when employees are coming and going to the hospital and the VA center, and you cannot see cars as they come up on you because there is a dip in the road and it's blind and you have to inch your way out there. It's just a dangerous situation altogether. And then with bringing in 178 new families that will be using this road and trying to get onto the Kernersville Medical Parkway, I just feel like you're going to be creating an atmosphere of increased accidents. And then secondly, I appreciate that Keystone, makes quality houses. That is not in question here. The question is the amount of people being packed into like 30 some acres, because a lot of it is being used for drainage and from storm and water, sewer drainage going down to the other side of the property. And my concern is you have houses that are on 55-foot wide lots. So they're being packed in, and those houses are, my understanding, are going to be 2-story homes, and they will be overlooking the properties on Brookdale Forest Drive and our neighbors behind us. To me, that is not giving us the same character as a country type feel, which is what why we bought here in this area, was because it had that country feel to it. And now we're going to be looking right down our road and seeing all of these houses packed in there together with the second story looking out over on us. And we're a private drive, but we're being made an emergency access road, which I'm not understanding how come we are an emergency access road when the main entrance is literally is just a couple houses down from us. So I would think that you would want to put an emergency access drive further down, maybe on the other side, but not right near the main entrance of the development. I'm grateful to hear that it wouldn't be used for construction or any other purpose. However, you have sidewalks that are coming straight to Brookdale Forest Drive. They are coming clear from the development down that 100-foot road from where the emergency access gate is, and they are coming clear to the end of our street, which I think would encourage pedestrian traffic from the development. And we're trying to keep our neighborhood quiet like it was before, or has been all these years that we've lived here. And we've been here nearly 20 years. So that's basically all I have to say. I appreciate your consideration, and I really hope that I'm really hoping that this does not pass, just because we want to keep this area the same as it has always been with, the neighbors. We know each other. We look out for one another, and it's the best environment for our grandchildren, to be able to stay on this quiet street and not have to worry about emergency vehicles going up and down or traffic coming in from the development, either by foot or bicycle or what have you. So thank you for your concern. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Mrs. Tobel. Any more questions for Mrs. Tobel? Anyone else wish to speak in opposition to the petition?
There are no other callers on the line at this time.
Okay, having no one in waiting to speak in opposition, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Excuse me. Once again, this will be taken up on Wednesday at 6 p.m. for a final vote. Well, next item on our agenda is public comments. Do we have anybody out that would like to address the board on any issue?
None on the phone, sir.
Okay. Planning board comments. Margaret?
No.
Diane?
Are there any other improvements to Brookford Road in the plans by DOT?
The only improvements would be the developer would be required to make right and left turn lanes at the entrance. I will also be recommending in a memo, this recommendation from the last speaker, the Brookdale Forest Drive, that can just be made a fire lane versus a public street. That way it's less maintenance, and since it's not going to be used for public asset, only emergency services. So not only would save the town long-term maintenance, it would save the developer costs, and also it would address some of the concerns made by the last speaker. So staff will be recommending amendment to that condition.
I think that's all I've got.
Okay. Luann?
Jeff, what did you say? Just repeat what you said. What amendment?
Staff will be making a recommended new condition that Brookdale Forest Drive is currently shown as a 50-foot public right-of-way with a 28-foot public street with sidewalks on both sides. It's about a 100-foot long section. Staff will be recommending in a condition that be just emergency access drive, and emergency access has to give access to a 90,000 pound plus emergency service access vehicle. So instead of being a full-blown public street with sidewalks, we'll be recommending that just be paved to emergency access standards.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Luann?
No, sir, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Jim?
I'm good, thanks.
Okay. Tom? Can't hear you.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Nathan?
I'm good, thank you.
Chris?
I'm good, thank you.
Joe?
Nothing here, thank you.
And I don't have anything either, so.
Can I ask one more quick question? I'm sorry.
Sure.
This is Diane Byers. So there's no plans to address the problem that she discussed about a stoplight or anything like that at Brookford Road and Medical Parkway?
When the Medical Parkway was first opened up, we got comments from people on Brookford coming up to that intersection on site distances. We reviewed the site distances. It meets all traffic standards. What we did paint the middle island area. And so when a car pulls out, you're crossing two lanes of traffic. It's a 4-lane divided parkway. And so we painted lines in the middle of the Kernersville Medical Parkway to provide a relief area for cars in a comfort area. And that stopped the complaints. We do not know of any accident issues at that intersection. It's just a matter of pulling off Brookford into that median area and then onto Brookford going, onto the Medical Parkway.
You okay, Diane?
Yes, I think so. Thank you.
Okay. Jeff, staff, I'm sorry.
This is Margaret Burks. Who's
Go ahead,
gonna pay who's gonna pay for all the improvement on Brookwood Road?
The developer will be required to do all design work and all improvements permitted through NCDOT.
DOT, is that state of Kernersville?
But the developer will have to pay for all design and construction cost.
Okay.
DOT may have some ideas on what they want done, but the developer will have to pay for having it done.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
Jeff, staff updates?
Fortunately, in August, we will not have a public hearing. I appreciate Rochelle and Beth, all the work they do in the public hearing comments. And we'll be making some, for the Wednesday meeting, we'll be making some updates. Going back and look at the comments made in the Brookford comments, make sure all the comments are there for the planning board review. When you look at the online agenda, you'll see those public comments. The staff will be receiving comments for the next 24 hours, and we'll update and get those back online, any new ones. And for next month, we'll have the subdivision review of Stonehaven. That is a public session, it's not a public hearing, it's only a preliminary subdivision review. It's an administrative process to determine whether or not it meets the standards of our subdivision regulations. We also have a potential one final development plan and a potential text amendment in our watershed ordinance. So next month will be one text amendment, one final development plan, and then the preliminary subdivision. Currently, we're looking at, and we'll know more in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, thank you. Anything else to be brought before the board? Can I have a motion for adjournment?
I so move.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much.